With all the recent talk about Jupiter going on, good and bad, it got me thinking, what exactly is the Jupiter of other chains? Like, what is the company that everybody low-key kind of bands around as the representation of their chain? Like for Solana, there's a lot of great companies. There's hundreds of great companies. But when you think of Solana, you think about the meme coins, you think about the stuff you can do with it, and then you think about a few companies like Jupiter. So, in this video, let's talk about what I think the Jupiter of SUI is. Bluefin. And again, the reason why I even make this video is because I truly believe in all of crypto, we have too many chains, but not enough applications. So, SUI, Hype, Sol, and maybe Base, maybe Abstract are the only chains that matter. So, when exploring any other chain, especially now if you're kind of tired with what's happening on Sol, it might be a good idea to learn what other cool things are happening on stuff like SUI. Let's go into that. So to begin with SUI, it started off as a perps trading platform. It's a DEX that you can do longing and shorting and all this other kind of stuff that makes you lose all of your money. And then it expanded to spot trading. And now on SUI, it has over 70% market share and has done over $40 billion in volume. $40 billion in volume, that's a lot. For SUI, that's a lot. And on Bluefin, you could do limit orders, you could do stop orders, stop losses, bridging, all of this other stuff that you can do at Jupiter. And like the previous video, they give you one of these. Dude, leave me alone. Let me shoot this video, bro. And just like Jupiter, they have their own token called Blue. Blue, I like the tokenomics of because it reminds me a lot of Jupiter's Grow the Pie effort. On their initial airdrop, 50% was given to the entire community. So 50%, when you compare it to a lot of the tokenomics that's happening now, is a lot. Because I remember there's this one recent launch, which I won't say any names of. I'm pretty sure it was like 60% that went to the team, the foundation, the partners, the creative director, blah, blah, blah. So if you have tokenomics that are spread out in a way that, like I said, grow the pie and help more users bring into your platform and to help more people actually be excited about what you're building, then ideally you get that kind of effect that Jupiter had where it's a band and like a cult rather than somebody just farming your airdrop and then just selling everything the second they get it. And even now, if you were on testnet on SUI like I was and you low-key like didn't use it for a while because you were stuck on the Sol train, which I still am of course, then you could still check. Maybe you still got an allocation. Even if you use Bluefin a little bit, they still have their airdrop checker out and you could still low-key maybe have an allocation that you can claim. And deferring from the topic of their token, which I think again, tokenomics wise seems cool. I won't speak on price action or anything like that because I don't know enough to even try to do that. But one thing I wanted to show was their swap feature. So number one selling point of Sol, the reason why 99% of my money is on there and why I'm down 99% on all the memes on there is because of the swap time and because of how low the fees are on there. But look at this. If you do a swap on Sol on Jupiter, again, I love Jupiter. They're my homeboys. Everything that they do is great. I'm not like beating on anybody. I'm just showing a comparison between speed here, objectively, let it be known. If you do a swap here, look at the time that it takes. Okay, it took about 2 to 4 seconds there. 4 seconds to swap one Sol to USDC on Jupiter with their automated features, whatever the fastest slippage is, blah, blah, blah. And now look at SUI. It's low-key absurd. I did not think it would be like this. Literally like less than a second. From the confirmation that I just pressed here to getting the confirmation is literally less than a second. So again, if you're someone that makes money with bots, if you're someone that makes some money with like ARB or anything like that, and you need something that's high speed and low fees, SUI might be something you want to look into, especially when it comes to competition. Like the two videos I made before, even though the majority of stuff is happening on Sol, and I think will continue to, and I think chains like Hype have their own little niche that they're competing and they're killing it in, I think SUI, because of the less competition with memes or bots, whatever it may be, it is an ecosystem that I think you could low-key become the top mover in. Like the point of this video is, what is the top mover in SUI and what will be in the next 6 to 8 months? That's what we're looking into. And even just with this swap alone from USDC to SUI or USDC to Sol, you can kind of see that SUI low-key had the speed on this Sol swap beat there, even if it was by like 2 to 3 seconds. And now continuing the comparisons, because that is the most important thing, like how is SUI better or as good as Hype or maybe Base and of course Solana. So what I want to look at here now is their perps trading. So again, I don't really do perps. I don't think low-key it's hot on, so I don't think anybody should do perps. No, I think perps trading is very specific. Like now in this time of the market, if you lost all your money in memes and you go revenge trading perps, not a good idea. But if you have a good handle on it, perps trading is of course a great idea if you're allowed to do that to make a shit ton of money or lose a shit ton of money. But with that, it's like which one has the best UI, which one has the lowest fees, and which one has the fastest fills. So we're gonna compare here now Bluefin to Hyperliquid. Like I said before, Hyperliquid is an insane platform that had a crazy airdrop and that is really, really good for perps trading. What we're gonna do here is just look at this UI. We're not gonna actually do a trade because I really Like I don't have any money on this thing. But the only thing I really want to show here is the UI. How pretty is it? And when you use it, is it actually as good or nearly good as Hyperliquid? I know that Bluefin in the month of March is doing a bunch of like crazy upgrades and updates and stuff like that to not just compete with Hyperliquid, but with whatever you guys use in Solana for this as well. So we're gonna visit this back in a month and we're gonna see how much better this got. But here, let's just look at the UI, the stuff that you can actually trade, and how pretty it is compared to top mover Hyperliquid. And again, I think they're both beautiful. Like I'm a man that appreciates a good UI. That sounds so fucking Indian of me, which is crazy. I really do appreciate the UI of both of these, even though they both low-key look the same. I think Hyperliquid has Bluefin beat because I really like the green hue that this has. But again, I'm talking about the UI. I don't even know how that thing actually performs, which is really funny to me. But I think if, again, you are into perps trading, it's a good idea to look into SUI, and maybe the vibe and maybe like the fees being lower on there might be a reason for you to not only use Hyperliquid, but also look into Bluefin as well. And now the last thing that I want to look into here are the pools. So Bluefin, similar to Hyperliquid, Camino, Drift, all these other places that you can do pools on, has pools that you can do lending on. Right now, the SUI USDC APR is 540%. In 24 hours. So like I said, underfarmed or less volume type E places are usually the places where these pools are, like I said, underfarmed. So if you're looking for like crazy APR, even if it's for a little bit of time, it won't be into pools that have $50 billion of volume in them. It'll be in pools that are underfarmed. So if you're someone that's gonna bridge real quickly using Phantom Wallet because they have SUI now, or using SUI Wallet or whatever, you can now take advantage of these pools that are underfarmed. Because I know like Hyperliquid is the #1 place that people are farming this stuff, just like Camino and Drift. So if you're looking to farming the pools on SUI, it might be more beneficial to you if you take the 3 seconds to bridge, I'm finna bridge over. TVL of Hyperliquid is much different and much bigger than Bluefin, which is something we'll go into in a different video. But the pools here are competitive. And if you're interested in providing liquidity for Bluefin, that again is something you can look into aside from spot and aside from perps trading. And now the last thing that I want to talk about, the last thing that I want to quickly talk about is their Twitter. Their Twitter is not cringy. The #1 thing that you hear me talk about is their Twitter marketing natural? Do they have some sort of paid, here's $50,000, please tweet about my product? No. The reason why I talk about this is because they understand the culture. If you go into their tweets and if you see about what they're talking about and the way that their marketing is and who they interact with, it's pretty natural and it's not boring. A lot of other companies, the second I see #crypto, #fuck yeah, I'm like, shit, this is gonna rug in like 6 months. So I like the fact that whoever is managing their Twitter does it in a fun way and doesn't do it in a cringy way. I hope this video, once again, opens up a little bit more eyes into the SUI ecosystem. I think Bluefin is an underfarmed project, even though the token already dropped and you can't necessarily farm a token. And now especially into perps trading, random swapping, and liquidity pools. But I think it's something that if you're interested in perps trading or whatever they're working on in the month of March, it's something you should look into. I've done Aptos testnet, I've done the SUI testnet, I farmed like, Monad, Barachain, Abstract, everything else. And like I said, there's really only 5 chains that matter. If you close your eyes to other ecosystems, you're missing out on money and you're missing out on vibes. I'm Sol Maxis until the day that I die. I've been, you guys know this about me. But in the past 3 years, if you follow me, you know that I only talk about Sol, Hype, now, Base, maybe, Abstract, maybe, and of course, SUI. So, looking into these different ecosystems and fucking with some of the stuff that they're doing, even if it's not Bluefin, is a great idea. There's airdrops, there's meme coins, there's communities, there's NFTs, there's all sorts of other stuff on other chains that are pretty cool to look into. And on that topic of what is the Jupiter of SUI, what is the Jupiter of Hype, of course, Hyper is just Hyperliquid. But I think Bluefin has a good shot of being that ecosystem player that people band around. Because whenever, even if you search your own brain, your own memory right now, when you think about SUI, I think maybe you'll think about Fuddies, the NFT from Rain, and then maybe you'll think about Bluefin because some of the loudest people on Twitter are these 2 accounts. So if you are on Sol, stay on Sol. It's a great place to be, of course. I'll be there till the day that I die. But spread 20% of your time into different ecosystems. Try to farm something. Try to look into something else. You might have fun. So